Gentlemen, let me begin with a question that is rarely asked openly but lingers silently in the minds of millions of men. When was the last time you were told that self-pleasure is not only normal but can actually be beneficial to your health? In a world where discussions about men's sexuality are often hidden behind shame or jokes, few realize that this natural act, when approached with understanding and moderation, can play a crucial role in physical, emotional, and even relational well-being. Yet the same act, when practiced in harmful patterns, can quietly sabotage confidence, performance, and satisfaction. This conversation is not about judgment or taboo. It is about clarity, awareness, and reclaiming control over one's body and mind. Masturbation has existed as long as humanity itself, and modern science has revealed that it carries several health benefits. It supports prostate function by helping flush out old secretions, reducing the risk of inflammation or stagnation. It releases endorphins and oxytocin, hormones that relieve stress and promote relaxation, contributing to better sleep quality and a calmer mood. It also helps men understand their own bodies, their triggers, and their patterns of arousal, which can lead to improved intimacy with a partner. However, the benefits of this practice depend heavily on how it is performed. When done with awareness, it can strengthen control, sensitivity, and stamina. But when done carelessly, repetitively, or under the wrong conditions, it can lead to dysfunctions that many men struggle with silently, issues like premature ejaculation, loss of erection, or reduced arousal during real intimacy. The truth is that masturbation is a form of training. Every time a man engages in it, he is teaching his brain and body how to respond to pleasure. The brain learns through repetition, a process known as neuroplasticity, which means that habits created in solitude can directly shape responses in partnered experiences. When self-pleasure is rushed, mechanical, or excessively dependent on visual stimulation from pornography, it conditions the nervous system to expect the same environment every time. Over months or years, this can narrow arousal pathways to a very specific type of stimulation, fast, intense, and detached from emotional connection. When real intimacy occurs, where sensations are slower, subtler, and emotionally layered, the body may struggle to adapt. It is not that the man is broken. Rather, he has been trained in a way that does not match natural human connection. One of the most common mistakes men make is rushing through the act as though it were a race to the finish line. Many develop this pattern early in life, perhaps during adolescence when privacy was scarce and time was limited. That pattern often remains, even decades later. The biological consequence is significant. Repeated quick release reinforces premature ejaculation reflexes. The body learns that arousal equals urgency and that pleasure should end as soon as possible. The next time intimacy occurs, the same conditioned reflex takes over, no matter how much the mind wants to slow down. This mismatch between desire and control creates anxiety, and anxiety itself releases cortisol, a stress hormone that interferes with erection quality. What begins as a simple habit can evolve into a cycle of self-doubt and frustration, where fear of failure becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The key to breaking this cycle lies in retraining the body for endurance. Instead of seeking immediate release, men can approach the act as a form of exercise for control. The start-stop technique is a powerful tool, bringing oneself close to climax, then deliberately pausing to allow the arousal to subside before starting again. This teaches the nervous system that pleasure does not have to lead directly to release. Over time, this practice builds both awareness and restraint. Another effective method is edging, sustaining arousal for longer periods without climax. With consistency, these techniques increase stamina, strengthen pelvic floor control, and restore confidence. Just like muscles grow stronger through repeated training, sexual endurance is built through mindful practice. A second, equally important factor is the over-reliance on pornography. Modern technology has made explicit content accessible within seconds, often portraying unrealistic scenarios designed to stimulate intense novelty. Biologically, this floods the brain with dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. The constant switching between videos creates a powerful loop of novelty-seeking behavior. Over time, the brain adapts by reducing dopamine receptor sensitivity, meaning it takes more extreme or varied content to feel the same level of excitement. This phenomenon leads to what experts call porn-induced erectile dysfunction, where real intimacy no longer provides enough stimulation because the mind has become accustomed to exaggerated fantasy. Emotionally, this dependency can create guilt, shame, and a sense of disconnection. Many men describe feeling detached from their partners, unable to become aroused without visual triggers or scripted stimulation. This disconnect not only impacts relationships but also erodes self-image. The solution is not to suppress desire but to reset the brain's sensitivity. Taking a digital detox from visual porn allows dopamine pathways to recover. During this period, using imagination, memory, or audio stimulation can serve as gentler alternatives that encourage natural arousal. Initially, the absence of visual intensity may feel dull or frustrating, but persistence leads to deeper sensitivity, stronger emotional connection, and greater satisfaction in real encounters. By reducing reliance on external stimuli, a man reclaims the power of his internal erotic imagination, the very essence of human intimacy. The third silent mistake lies in repetition and the use of excessive grip or mechanical technique. Many men unconsciously develop a very specific routine: the same hand, the same position, the same tight pressure every single time. This consistency, while seemingly harmless, conditions the sensory nerves of the penis to expect one unique form of friction. When partnered stimulation differs as it naturally does, being softer, slower, and more varied, the nerves fail to respond with the same intensity. This creates what some researchers refer to as death grip syndrome, where normal stimulation feels insufficient. The result can be difficulty maintaining arousal or reaching orgasm during real sex, leading to confusion, embarrassment, and performance anxiety. The solution, again, is retraining through variety. Changing technique, rhythm, position, and pressure helps restore adaptability. Using the non-dominant hand or incorporating lubricant can simulate the natural variations of partnered touch. This diversity encourages the nervous system to broaden its sensitivity range. It's similar to cross-training. In athletics, different exercises challenge different muscle groups, leading to better overall performance. In the same way, introducing variety in self-pleasure makes the body more responsive and adaptable during real intimacy. The goal is not perfection, but flexibility, the ability to enjoy a wide range of sensations and emotional contexts. Another overlooked factor is the psychological environment in which self-pleasure occurs. Many men engage in it under stress, boredom, or emotional disconnection. When the act becomes a coping mechanism for loneliness or anxiety, it no longer serves its original biological and emotional purpose. Instead, it becomes a form of escapism, reinforcing dependence rather than healing. Mindfulness can change this dynamic. Paying attention to sensations, breathing, and emotional state during the process can transform it from a mechanical act into a self-aware experience. This shift fosters a healthier relationship with sexuality, one based on connection rather than compulsion. It's also worth addressing the role of communication and self-perception. Cultural stigma has led many men to associate masturbation with guilt or weakness. In reality, it is a natural form of sexual expression. When practiced mindfully and in moderation, it can enhance self-knowledge and even strengthen relationships by reducing anxiety around performance. However, when done excessively or secretively, it can isolate a man emotionally, creating barriers to genuine connection. The key is balance, recognizing that sexual energy is not something to suppress or indulge blindly, but to channel with intention. Practicing moderation also involves understanding frequency. There is no universal correct number, as healthy frequency varies based on age, lifestyle, and hormonal levels. What matters is whether the habit interferes with daily life, motivation, or relationships. If it becomes compulsive, driven by stress rather than desire, it may signal an imbalance. Redirecting that energy into physical exercise, creative work, or emotional intimacy can help restore equilibrium. Sexual energy, after all, is a form of life energy. When balanced, it fuels vitality, focus, and confidence. Physical health plays an equally important role in sexual function. Regular exercise improves circulation, which directly supports erection quality. Strengthening the pelvic floor muscles through targeted exercises such as Kegels enhances control over ejaculation and blood flow. A diet rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and adequate hydration supports hormone production and vascular health. Poor lifestyle choices, such as excessive alcohol, smoking, and sleep deprivation, can dull sensitivity and reduce testosterone levels. Thus, sexual health cannot be separated from general health. It is a reflection of overall vitality. Age is another factor that many men misunderstand. Declines in performance are often blamed on getting older. But research consistently shows that habits and lifestyle matter far more than age alone. The male body remains highly adaptable throughout life. Even men in their 60s or 70s can retrain their bodies for improved stamina and sensitivity when they adopt consistent, healthy patterns. The nervous system is remarkably responsive, and with patience, men can regain confidence and pleasure that they assumed were lost forever. Equally significant is the emotional aspect of sexual function. Performance anxiety, fear of inadequacy, and negative self-talk can inhibit arousal more powerfully than any physical limitation. Reframing sexuality as a form of connection rather than performance can dramatically reduce pressure. When self-pleasure is approached with curiosity rather than guilt, it strengthens self-awareness and self-compassion. This, in turn, translates into better intimacy with a partner. The goal is not to perform but to connect, both with oneself and another person. Finally, practical adjustments can make a notable difference. For men who struggle with sensitivity while using condoms, practicing with them during solo sessions can normalize the sensation and reduce distraction during partnered intimacy. Experimenting with different brands, sizes, and lubricants helps find what feels most natural. When incorporated into self-practice, these tools become familiar rather than foreign, transforming what was once a barrier into part of the rhythm. In essence, self-pleasure is a neutral act. Its impact depends entirely on how it is practiced. When performed mindfully, without guilt, and with variation, it becomes a form of self-care that enhances sexual health, confidence, and control. When done habitually, rushed, or under the influence of unrealistic stimulation, it can weaken sensitivity and erode confidence. The difference lies in awareness, discipline, and the willingness to retrain one's patterns. Men must understand that the sexual system is deeply adaptable. Every pattern, whether healthy or harmful, can be reshaped through consistent behavior. Slowing down teaches control. Reducing reliance on visual porn restores sensitivity. Introducing variety rebuilds adaptability. Practicing with condoms strengthens readiness. And above all, developing mindfulness reconnects the act to its deeper emotional and physical purpose. To the man who feels that he has lost control, who worries that his body no longer responds the way it once did, the message is simple. You are not broken. You have simply learned certain habits that can be unlearned. With time, patience, and intentional effort, the body and brain can be reconditioned to respond with balance, strength, and satisfaction. Sexual health is not determined by age or past mistakes. It is shaped by present choices. Ultimately, true sexual wellness extends beyond physical performance. It is about dignity, confidence, and the freedom to experience pleasure without dependence, fear, or guilt. When approached with respect for oneself and one's body, even something as private as masturbation becomes a tool for growth. It can build endurance, deepen emotional connection, and restore balance between mind and body. Every man deserves that confidence to know that his body responds as he wishes, that his energy serves him, and that his sexuality is not a source of shame but a sign of vitality. The path to that balance is not complicated. It begins with awareness, continues with consistency, and ends in transformation. By slowing down, detaching from artificial stimulation, and embracing natural connection, men can reclaim the control, pleasure, and confidence that define true sexual health. Because at its core, this conversation is not just about performance, it's about freedom and the lifelong power to feel fully alive in one's own skin.